All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're unpacking a completely fascinating and honestly surprisingly profound conversation between a mother and her 12-year-old daughter, Tripti. Now, on the surface, you might think this is just a simple chat about a trip to the local auto repair shop. But as we dig into the source material today, you're going to see it's actually this deep, philosophical exploration of how we view the world around us, how we measure value, and ultimately, how we choose to spend our lives. It all starts with this incredibly profound question that sets the stage for our entire journey today. Trupti asks, why can't human bodies be fixed as easily as cars? It perfectly contrasts the comforting simplicity of machines with the messy, unpredictable complexity of life. I mean, it's a question young Trupti wrestles with, but frankly, it's a frustration almost every adult feels when dealing with a stubborn illness or injury. You know the feeling. Why can't we just pop the hood, swap out a broken part, and be as good as new? Section 1. The Appeal of Auto Repair, the Mechanical Ideal. Tripti is absolutely fascinated by the logical, step-by-step world of the auto mechanic. And when you think about it, it really is a brilliantly predictable process. Step 1, you plug the ports into a computer for a clear diagnosis. Step 2, you study the output to pinpoint the real issue. Step 3, you take the engine apart and make the repair. And Step 4, you just put it all right back together. For a 12-year-old, or honestly anyone who just loves order and logic, this total lack of ambiguity is so satisfying. And this captures the ultimate appeal of human-made mechanical systems. It's all about definitive solutions. As Tripti plainly states to her mother, after that, the problem just goes away. You find the broken part, you swap it out, and boom, the system functions perfectly again. It gives us this incredibly comforting illusion that we are in total control. But Tripti uses her observations, which she actually picked up from listening to her papa argue with those very mechanics, to ask a much deeper question about human illness. She wonders, if fixing a car is so totally straightforward, why is treating a human so incredibly complex? Why are we stuck relying on this messy cocktail of tablets, syrups, and injections? Like, why can't a doctor just swap out our defective parts with a wrench and, maybe charge us slightly less for the labor while they're at it? Section 2. Mechanics versus biology. Two entirely different design paradigms. So, Mama steps in and points out a very stark contrast. Cars are mechanical constructs and they're fundamentally engineered by humans. But we are biological beings, intricately designed by nature. She's helping Tripti realize that you literally cannot apply the rules of a human-designed system to a nature-designed one. They operate under completely different paradigms. And here is where the conversation takes a truly brilliant turn. This innocent little query from Tripti forces us to immediately confront how our society measures worth. She asks her mom, if cars are so predictable, so easily fixed, and we spend so much time obsessing over them, why do we seem to consider them more valuable than human beings? Section 3. The Economics of Nature. Cost versus true value. Mama breaks this economic paradox down beautifully. Think about it. We pay an absolute fortune for a car, which is a mechanical, human-made object. Yet nature provides these essential, totally life-sustaining elements like air and water completely for free. Our biological existence literally depends on them. So Mama's point is that just because we pay for something, that doesn't actually make it more valuable. In fact, the things nature produces freely are infinitely more valuable than anything we could ever buy. This is a massive revelation in the dialogue. It firmly establishes nature as a flawless designer when compared to human engineering. Mama tells Trupti, anything produced by nature is just perfect. It has no harmful byproduct. And that right there is the absolute benchmark Mama uses to distinguish the biological from the mechanical. Because that reveals the fundamental flaw in human creation. Every single thing we produce, from cars to our most advanced medications, comes with a hidden cost. They have benefits, sure, but they also carry harmful side effects. A car gets us from point A to point B, but it pollutes the air. A pill cures your headache, but it might completely upset your stomach. Nature systems, on the other hand, operate in perfect balance, leaving behind absolutely zero harmful waste. Moving right along to Section 4. Can we repair humans? The limits of the mechanical approach. So Tripti has this realization. Unlike a car engine, you can't just hit pause on biology. Nature's creations cannot be stopped, pulled apart, and then neatly reassembled. They function as a single, fully interconnected, complete system. You can't just turn off a human, take out a lung, tinker with it on a workbench for a few hours, and then boot the human back up. It just doesn't work that way. But Mama doesn't let her off the hook that easily. She challenges Trupti by pointing out a major exception. What about surgeons? I mean, don't they act almost exactly like mechanics when they take out a defective heart and replace it? Isn't that quite literally taking a human apart, swapping a part, and putting it back together? Now, Tripti's defense here is incredibly quick. She argues that yes, surgeons might act like mechanics, but the parts they're using are completely different. A replacement heart isn't built on an assembly line in a factory. Even in our absolute most mechanical medical procedures, like a heart transplant, we are still entirely at the mercy of nature's non-factory design to make the whole thing work. Mama concedes the point, though she does fascinatingly note that scientists are actively trying to change that, working hard to actually manufacture biological parts. Let's head into our final section. Section 5, the ultimate synthesis, moving beyond fixing to creating joy. Having discussed all of this heavy philosophical stuff, Mom offers Trupti a choice between 3 highly respected professions. She asks, which one do you find the most interesting? The doctor, who tries to repair the biological? The scientist, who tries to engineer the biological? Or the mechanic, who repairs the mechanical? Ultimately, they are all dedicated to analyzing, building, and fixing complex systems. But Trupti rejects the entire premise. She has zero interest in this urge to constantly diagnose and fix what is broken. She tells her mom, "Neither of those, Mama. I would just like to be at home and grow flowers that just bring a smile onto the face of others by just looking at them." It's such a beautiful moment. She chooses to step away from the workbench entirely. She chooses to align herself with the simple perfection of nature, growing flowers, just to cultivate joy. And that brings us to the end of our explainer today. So I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder. We spend so much of our time diagnosing, tinkering, and basically acting like mechanics for our own lives. But what perfect natural system are you nurturing in your own life to create joy instead of just fixing problems? It is a wonderful, grounding reminder from a 12-year-old girl to stop, step back, and truly appreciate the priceless, freely given perfection of the natural world.